So this is the trailhead to the Baking Powder Loop. We're directly across from Desert Oasis High School here. There is parking on the paved road on the side across from the high school, not on the side of the high school. And this is the intersection of Erie and Windy Desert. So all you do is pretty much we have to follow the railroad tracks. There will be a pedestrian bridge here in the future, although it really doesn't affect us. And there's a fence that's going to go for about half a mile here. So we're going to go across here and pick up a path that roughly parallels the railroad tracks until we get to the end of the fence, and that's where we'll cross under the tracks. As we've gone away from the school a little bit there, here's where the trail leads up. In the distance you can see the Cactus Avenue or the railroad bridge. And there aren't supposed to be any ATVs here, but they are occasionally seen, especially after hours. And we're still following the fence here till we get to the end. It's worth noting that this big hill, which we are not going up, but are actually going away from, about half that hill has just recently been sold to housing development. So say goodbye to the hill and hello to construction vehicles. Next intersection you're going to hit is where you get to the top of this little hill here. You'll see the railroad curving off into the distance. Right here, this pretty easy to spot and slightly marked old telegraph pole is the start of the actual trail part here that we'll be looping around. Also, if you don't like the train, as you saw in the last piece of the video, it's pretty loud. You can easily start this hike from the Rainbow side. You just have to park in one of the ungated communities over there and walk in on this side. As you follow the trail, you'll get to this little fork in the road here. It's just a little dog leg that's going to go down there. It leads you right back to the same spot. So there's going to be the high road or the low road. You both end up at the same location. Hill here, starting to round the hill. This is a pretty easy to spot turn off here on the trail, and obviously if you keep rounding the hill your hike's going to be really short. So this is going to pull us off into the desert. Now in the far distance you'll be able to see the Desert Tortoise Conservation Center out there. It's kind of a landmark. They decided to take the spur heading, I guess we're heading almost dead south here, away from the hill. There was a fork. Now if I'd kept on the trail, I know it loops around and would head back to the hill. So that's fairly easy to follow, but this one wasn't on the map, so I was kind of curious to see where this one goes. So that'll be the topic of this hike. I suspect it's a little longer than the other one. So I'm still continuing on this long unknown trail. It is pretty well cairned, but the trail is pretty rough and rocky, and it hasn't been as well swept as the rest of the trail. It's not really very suitable for dogs or anything at this point. So eventually this unmarked trail, which will be marked later, but it leads you out to the road here on the far south end, which I didn't know there was a connection here. You can see that we're quite a distance away from the little hills now. Looks like we may be starting to loop back toward them. Eventually we're going to hit this large hill hill range up here, so I'm not sure which way the trail is going to curve, but I think we're curving left back toward the hills. So this is our second road crossing. Still perpendicular to the road. Looks like some people take the road back here. I see a lot of bike track marks here. But we'll keep going on the trail to see just how deep it goes before we hit the hill. We finally reached the turning point of the trail. I thought it was going to take me all the way up over the hill there where the road goes to the Sloan Quarry. But the trail is fortunately making a turn back towards civilization. So the trail builders have been very ingenious here in utilizing these not very dangerous cliffs, but very scenic. So your trail actually goes along these little cliffs here, provide some additional scenery. I say the cliffs aren't really more than 10 feet tall, but it's good for the scenery. And we're gradually heading back toward the hill. As you can see, we're closing in on the railroad tracks. Big curve up there that we came in on. So now we're on the other side. We're on the definitely the return track home here. On your way back, or on your way in, depending on how you go around the fence, there's even historic camp piles right here, just right next to civilization. Hopefully this land doesn't get sold off too quickly, so these will last a little while longer.